thank you for being here today again. We really appreciate it. To start off, I was wondering if you could tell us your name and just a little bit about your journey so far and how you dealt with the stress and pressures along the way.
Okay, my name is Seema Rahman, and I am a psychological counselor, and I have been working as one since last around 20 years. And I was a fairly good student while I was studying, and my father was in a transferable job. So most of the times we were changing schools, we were going to different places. He was being transferred after 2-3 years at being one place. So we were visiting different places and going to different schools, making new friends every time. And I was fairly good at studies, but not at the top. I was enjoying lots of extracurricular activities as well. And till I came to my graduation, and in graduation I offered psychology as one of my subjects. And after that I really started liking psychology, and I became very passionate about it, and I was doing very well in psychology. And I decided to do my post graduation masters also in psychology, clinical psychology. And when I was doing my post graduation, I got so interested in psychology that I actually topped in the final exam. I was a topper, I was a gold medalist. And after that I decided to become a counselor, although at that time counseling was very much unheard of in India, and people were not very aware of counseling services and things like that. This was some 32 years back. So when I decided to become a counselor, people were often amazed at what you are going to do and how you are going to go about it. Then I got married and to a doctor. He was an orthopedic surgeon. And I got busy with my home life and my children. I had 2 sons, and I was bringing them up and using my psychology on them. And then after 10 years, when they started going to school and I was a little less busy, I decided to pursue my career in psychology. And I did some courses during those 10 years also, to upgrade myself all the time. I was doing something or the other all the time to upgrade myself. So I started working as a counselor after some 10 years of being married. And since last 20 years I have been doing counseling, and different areas of counseling I'm doing. I'm associated with many educational institutions and schools, pre-primary schools, play schools. And play school was one innovation when I decided to work in a play school, and I talked to its director about the need for counseling in play school. Everybody was amazed, and this was something new in India. And they said, what can you do with the so small children? They don't need counseling. But I feel that all the phases of your life are important, but first 5 years are especially most important, because when I started working, we also came across many students who were having problems in speech or learning difficulties, and we were able to identify them very soon. And that helped them get assistance in very early stages, and that helped them a lot. And I was able to help their parents how to uh, change their parenting styles to do better for their children. So that experiment went very well, and since last 14 years I am associated with that place, and I still get very good response from them. Hello. Hello.
Yeah. Okay, thank you. That was great. And now Ayan is going to ask the next question.
Right, so working with children is stressful in itself, but how do you interact with children and their parents who may not necessarily understand mental health?
Okay, so when I go to schools, I talk to teachers, I talk to school personals, and I meet students. I go to classrooms also and observe their behavior until then come to meet me on their own also. And obviously they and their parents are not very much aware of mental health issues. But I have often seen that sometimes parents are asked to go and meet the counselor because their children are not doing well in studies or things like that. But I have often seen that they come with a lot of apprehensions. They feel that they don't need counseling services because their children are fine, they are normal, they are not having any psychological issues or mental health problems. So they are very apprehensive initially, but once they come and talk to me, and often after giving them few tips, they go back and sometimes they imply those tips, and they come back very satisfied, and that tips give them results because they were maybe doing a small thing wrong, and if they change to that one thing, their relationship with their child improves, and they do better in their parenting, and children perform better, and everything changes for them. And I often see very positive results, and once a parent sees positive results, they come for other issues also, and they also understand that counseling is not something for mentally ill or some mental patients or things like that. It's for fairly normal people, because everybody at some point or the other in their lives reach at a place where they need help from somebody, they need to talk to somebody, they need some kind of suggestions or help. So counseling is for normal people, it's not for mentally ill people only. Hello.
Yeah. So that was really great because I absolutely agree with you that in order to get people to understand mental health, you need to start a conversation. And this is an important discussion to have no matter where you live, because mental health is such a controversial topic for some people, especially parents who aren't being grown up in this generation with the pressures and stresses around us. And kind of so going based off of that, we are aware that you're part of an organization called the Suja Foundation. And I was just wondering if you could tell us a little bit about that organization and the role that it has played in the current pandemic.
Well, a few years back, we felt the need for one organization where all kind of psychological services can be provided under one roof. The need for it was felt immensely, and we decided to form an organization in the memory of our parents. Me and my younger sister, we formed a organization called Sujao. Sujao is an amalgamation of both their names. Their names were Suraya and Javed, and they were two people who liked to help people in any way possible. So what better tribute we can give them than to help people. And my sister is also from psychology background, so we formed this organization together, and we are working towards mental health of people. All kind of psychological services we are providing under this, be it schools, be it career counseling, higher education in psychology, knowledge of imparting knowledge on higher education. Also, we are helping students of psychology with internship. Also, we are doing internship also. So all kind of psychological services we are providing. Recently, we held workshops for women, because I have often seen that women neglect their mental health a lot, themselves a lot. And I always tell them that because they give more priority to their families, their husbands, their children, their home, relatives, everything. But for them, they come last. But I tell them one thing, that when we travel in a flight, and the flight person tells us that if you are helping with oxygen, you need oxygen, first you take your mask and then you can help other people. Because if you are not getting oxygen, you are not breathing, you are not happy, you cannot help other people also. So for women, it's very important. And when we organize workshops, we often see that women who seem very happy being a mother, being a wife, but they also want to be connected to that one person who they were before getting married. And in India, it is considered that if you are married, You are married, like you are wife of somebody, you are mother of somebody, but not a person. So I encourage women to remember that person they were, because they need to be in touch with that. And when I do this, I really feel happy, because all those women who come and say that they are very happy and they are enjoying their lives, but when we touch these things, they become very emotional and they thank me later that I have brought that side of their lives back to them. So I think this is very important. Apart from that, in Sujao, we are conducting career counseling workshops for students, because that again is a very important decision in a person's life. And in India, parents also often influence students, their children, about their career choices. They say that you have to become this, you have to become that, because that is prevalent in the society, that is more respectable. Or if they wanted to be somebody, they wanted to do something in life, and for some reasons they could not do that, so they try to fulfill their dreams through their children. So I meet children all the time who are confused about career choices, because there is not much awareness also. And so I keep doing these workshops for career counseling also, where I tell them that it is more important to be happy in life, because career choice is also a choice. They have to live with that for their lives most of the times. Sometimes we change our careers also, but that rarely happens. And I feel it very strongly that our careers should match our personalities also. Like if I am a very introvert person, I should not go for a career where I have to deal with so many people, I have to talk to people a lot. Whereas if I'm an outgoing person, I should choose careers where I can be more outgoing, meet people, things like that. So I'm doing that. Apart from that, I'm doing a lot of parenting workshops for parents, because young parents, parent they become, but there is no formal training to become a parent, and we learn everything on the job. And we get lots of advice, especially in India, from everybody is ready to give us advice, do this, don't do this. And parents don't realize that what they should actually do, and there are very small things. And I get very positive results in this also, because when I talk to parents and they listen to me and they take some advice home and they implement some of them, and they come back and say that it was so simple, we were doing only this thing wrong and we changed that, and this has brought such good results to our parenting, and our relations with our children has improved. So this gives me immense pleasure.
Your advice to women knowing their worth was very inspirational. Honestly, I absolutely agree. But along this line, my question for you is if you have any advice regarding identifying mental health issues early on, or advice for anyone who plans on going down the same career path as you.
See, in our lives, in our relationships, we see people suffering sometimes. We see that one person who was very bubbly, very happy, suddenly changes. And we have to be aware of these small clues that, okay, this person may be suffering from something. We need to talk to people all the time. We need to be uh, empathetic. We need to be non-judgmental and talk to people, because sometimes a person just needs to be heard. If we share our problems with somebody and in answer we don't get some judgments, some advice, some suggestions, it feels great to talk to somebody who is just a good listener. So all of us can be good listeners. It can be practiced. It's some skill. Good listening habit is a very good habit, and very few of us have this, because as soon as we start talking to somebody, we want to give some suggestions, we want to respond as soon as somebody tells us something. So it's more important to let that person talk, and talking about your problems helps you, because we need to vent out our feelings also. Sometimes we are feeling very down and out. Sometimes we are feeling anger, negativity. And if we talk about it, it helps. It vents out our feelings. And if we keep everything inside, if we internalize our feelings, then that feeling is inside us and it suffocates us. So it's important that we keep listening to people. We keep our antennas up and see who is suffering, who may need our help. And there are people, they will come to you if you listen to them, if you understand their problems, if you don't give them advice, suggestions, if you just listen.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. But something that I kind of gained out of what you said was that, in a way, it is society's responsibility to be looking out for other individuals in our community, because a psychologist doesn't live next to a person that may be developing a mental illness. So we need to be the ones that kind of help an individual get the help that they need from a proper professional. Which is why I was wondering if there was any other message that you would like to bring to the attention of our audience in regards to mental health.
I think mental health is very important and we need to give it importance, because our physical health also depends a lot on our mental well-being. And apart from that, there is some stigma attached to mental illness, and we have to remove that, because if a person goes to a doctor, nobody says anything. But especially in a country like India, if a person is visiting a counselor or a psychiatrist, it is considered like that person is mad or something bad is happening. People try to hide it also. Although things are improving now, and people are becoming more aware of it, and they are more open to going to a counselor and talking to the person. And sometimes people also feel that if you have to talk to somebody, you can talk to your friend, you can talk to your relative, your sister, anybody who is close to you. But talking and listening is not everything. A counselor is a trained person. He or she is trained in this, to listen, to give advice, to maybe do some tests, things like that. So it becomes different. And when we talk to a relative or friend, there is some amount of subjectivity in it. That person cannot be emotionally detached from us, whereas a counselor is totally objective. We don't meet that person socially also, so we don't try to hide anything, because to our friend maybe we don't want to tell our innermost secrets or our innermost feelings, because sometimes we are scared also that that person can go and tell somebody else about my feelings or whatever I tell that person. But with a counselor, confidentiality is there. The counselor will never discuss with anybody else whatever you tell that person, and that helps us unburden more easily, because we can talk freely and know that this person is not going to judge me, or this person is not going to tell my secrets to anybody. So we can very freely talk to a counselor. So it's advisable to go to a counselor instead of thinking that my friend or my sister or my mother can give me this advice. Hello. Hello.
Yes.
That was a wonderful interview, honestly. Really appreciate your answers. So,
Hello.
Yes, sorry. To kind of just end this all on a lighter note, we want to ask you what your favorite aspect of working in the healthcare field has been, and what has been your least favorite aspect. And if you have a chance again to kind of redo your entire career path, what would you do different? Or would you even pursue a different career?
My favorite part of being a healthcare professional is that when I see people using the skills I teach them and see them being happy, it gives me immense pleasure to see that I am bringing about a positive change in people's lives, and they are more happy when they come and talk to me, and they feel unburdened, they feel happy, and they tell me that now they are feeling more relaxed, they are feeling better by just talking to me. It gives me pleasure, and the I like everything about this profession. I always wanted to do this, and this is my passion also. So I don't dislike anything, but maybe I dislike a lot of paperwork that I have to do, reports I have to write. That part I don't like very much, but that is also necessary. So I do that also. And if I have to live again, I will definitely want to be a counselor once again, because it gives me immense pleasure to be a counselor, to be able to help people, to bring maybe not big changes, but small changes in people's life. And I see, when I see children, that they come and learn something from me, and they use those skills in their lives, and that brings uh, positive changes in their lives. So all these things are very fulfilling and very satisfying. So maybe if I get another chance, I would like to be a counselor again.
Oh, that's amazing. That's so sweet. Oh my God. um, kind of just end this. Thank you again for being here. It was really enlightening to kind of just talk with you about mental health, and kind of it's like opens your eyes to kind of see how mental health is being perceived in India compared to how we perceive it over here as well. So thank you.
It was very nice being here. Thank you for having me.